Hey kids, Inverted Cow here. Welcome back to Vintage Story. I was going to do a bit of a thing, but today I want to do a quick little tutorial, more than anything, on pumpkins. That's one of the things I've been asked about, actually, is how do you get pumpkins to grow at all? So I'm going to go over basically just a quick little go over of everything I can say about pumpkins. First and foremost, you will only find pumpkin seeds from cracked vessels or traders. So you'll have to be adventuring out in the wilderness to find seeds. You will find them, it's just you have to look. When you get your seeds, the first thing you're going to want to do is get yourself some good cropland. I suggest terra preta, or if you don't have terra preta, at least compost. Both are equally important, or I'm not going to say important, but needed. If you do it on medium fertility soil, you will definitely see a drop in your productions. Now, pumpkins have a very strict threshold when it comes to where and how they can grow. If you are in an arid biome like a desert, you will have problems with them. You want to be in a biome where it has common or very common rain and good temperature. I mean, it's autumn here. Our current temperature is 23. We don't really get that hot or that cold in this biome, so these flourish. Now, I'm just going to break these things up here. When you are growing your pumpkins, you can break ripe, mature pumpkins while the plant is still growing. So you can increase your yield slightly that way. Now, the first thing you want to do after you have gotten your soil is you want to lay it out. I plant 3 or on the 3rd block away from a water source. So the water is here on the 3rd block away. That way it will still maintain moisture. Keep at least 5 blocks between patches. Don't plant them any closer than that. Like, you can't plant pumpkins like a normal crop where you have one on every spot. It just simply won't do. Your base plant requires 1 square around your garden. So you need at least 1 full square around your garden just for the base plant itself. The pumpkins grow off the vines, so you need space for the vines. Now, I'm not sure what the math is, and I'm sure somebody else can figure that out, but every length of vine has a percentage of a chance to spawn either a pumpkin or another length of vine. They will grow over and through grass, but it never hurts to remove the grass beforehand as well. When you're about to plant, after you have laid out your crops, 3 from the edges and 5 apart from each other, bring your slow release nutrients up to 150 on the P. I can't mouse over it. On the where it says slow release nutrients, bring that up to 150 points. That's usually about 5 clicks with bone meal. Now, this one here I've just harvested. You can see the P is at 76.8%. I normally wait for it to go back up to 80% or better. With the slow release nutrients, it will go up to better. Then it's just basically it's plant like a normal thing, and it has 8 growth cycles. So I'm going to grab a seed here real quick, and we're just going to plant this one. It has 8 growth cycles. First it will grow the base plant, which is 1 by 1 by 1 all the way around, and then it will start to put out vines, and then the pumpkins will start to grow. As I said, you can harvest mature pumpkins, the fully ripe orange colored pumpkins, by just punching them. An axe also works, but you just have to punch them. After you have harvested your pumpkins, and the plant itself, the base plant itself, will go to withered stage. This is 8 out of 8, and it will say withered pumpkin plant. You can break that plant, and it will remove all of the withered vines. You may still see growing vines. The best thing to do is to wait until it has fully ripened before harvesting that center plant. If you break it early, you might end up with green ones that will stay. Don't harvest the green ones, and don't break the live vine pieces until the plant has fully ripened. All you will end up with is green pumpkins that you can't do anything with. Now, after you've harvested your pumpkins, the first thing you're going to want to do is take half your crop, or at least enough to replace all of your existing plants, and put them in your inventory and break them down to pumpkin seeds. That is simply done by putting it in your crafting grid and clicking on the seed output. Now, after that point, you can eat the pumpkins solid. They are 480 saturation for vegetable. They do have a fairly good perish time, and I believe it will, in a crock, they will hold for longer. But when I use the pumpkins, I cook them straight into a recipe as a whole thing. You can put them in the pot in whole like this. The other thing you can do with them is put them in your crafting grid with your knife in the position above it, and get your pumpkin slices. Now, the pumpkin slices don't last as long as a whole pumpkin, but you get 4 slices per pumpkin. This is handy if you want to put vegetable into a recipe and you need enough to fill out a recipe, but you don't have enough whole pumpkin. You can get 4 slices out of 1 pumpkin. That should be enough to finish your recipe. But I suggest always, if you can, cook with the whole pumpkin. A pumpkin hearty stew will pretty much fill your saturation with 1 bowl at least 1.5 times. I don't know how the pumpkins are affected by skills such as the malefactor skill or your farming abilities, so I don't know what kind of output that will have. But that is about all you need to know about pumpkins. Now, I'm going to leave this run, and I'm going to see if I can get some shots of the different grow stages here. Now, of course, it's 1 of 1. We took it up to 150% on the slow release. Pumpkin stew gives you 2,880 vegetable saturation per portion. This will pretty much fill your hunger bar completely. I missed the opportunity to get stage 2 logged out because of a temporal storm, and it took a few minutes here before I got back in. We're at stage 3 of the pumpkin plant. Now, as you can see, it has already started to offshoot the first section of vine. So we're just going to give this a little bit more time here until it pops up the rest of the plant, and I'll be right back. And here we are at level 4 of 8. As you can see now, it has put a vine off on each side, or on a second side, and it is still continuing to grow. So we'll pick it up again here as soon as it has grown a little bit more. It's just about dark, so it'll probably be first thing in the morning. And this is level 5 of 8. As you can see, it still hasn't changed a whole heck of a lot. It's just put down a couple more vines overall. So we're going to let this run a little bit longer. Okay, and here you can see the plant is now at stage number 6 of 8. It's now showing little yellow flowers, I guess they're supposed to be, on the main plant, and it has grown a few additional pieces of vine, but nothing substantial. We'll let this grow a little bit more. It's got 2 more stages to go, and the next stage should start to show fruits. Okay, here we are at level 7 of 8. As you can see, the pumpkin is now starting to expand its vines outwards. You get the little offshoot vines coming out all over the place. There. Every I don't know how they calculate it, ticks or turns or whatever, every so often it will either put out another vine or shoot, or it will start growing a pumpkin. Now this stage here can last for several in-game days. So at this point it's been 2 full days since I planted the pumpkin. So now we're going to let it run for a little while and see what kind of shoots come off of it. So there we have it, kids. Pumpkins. Thanks all for watching, and good night for now.